The another aspect of difference which I found from ancient Indian legal system to the current legal system was, maybe not very welcome to all of us, was the absence of this adhivakta. In the ancient Indian legal system, there were no concept of advocates. There was no concept of adhivakta. And maybe at the cost of your anger, I may suggest that lives were more simpler then. Because most of the litigation, we lawyers make it more complicated. In the absence of lawyers, the litigation was more simpler. It was simpler because not that the ancient legal system did not have Tarka Shastra, or it did not have Mimamsa, or it did not have Vad. It had all. If you read Nyaya Shastra from Maharshi Gautam, you'd find that the legal system was divided into three categories. One was Achar, which we now know as substantive law. The second category was Vyavahar, which is the procedural law. And the third category was Praishchit, that is the punishment part or the consequence of the entire legal system. The whole Nyaya Shastra divided into the three categories: Achar, Vyavahar, Praishchit. Now the procedural part, if you see, the whole legal system of India, as is being called, is dependent upon the Vedic scriptures. Basically, Vedic scriptures were Shrutis. And the legal system was not dependent on Shrutis, it was dependent on Smritis. And that is how we know Manu Smriti, we know Yagyavalkya Smriti, Brahaspati Smriti, Vishnu Smriti, we know Narada Smriti. There are multiple Smritis, and if you go through those Smritis, you find that all these legal procedure has been given over there. And in Yagyavalkya Smriti, I found that when I read that, and I read the Indian Evidence Act, I found that the entire Indian Evidence Act is based on the Yagyavalkya Smriti. Because the Yagyavalkya Smriti gives step by step how to decipher the truth. The entire legal system, the object which is called prameya, the object is the truth. And to find out the truth, these steps are given over there. From Vad to Samvad to Praman to Anuman, and so forth. There are 16 steps which ultimately end up with a Nirnaya. And if you see Indian Evidence Act, you'd find as if it has been copied from there. All those steps you'd find there, with the only absence of a lawyer. The Samvad, which we know as cross-examination, used to happen at that time also. The legal hierarchy was existing. There used to be judges, Nyaya Adhish, and the king's court was the apex court, where you can put up an appeal before the king. And one more distinction in the jurisprudence of English system and Indian system is, because we all have studied English jurisprudence and must have found somewhere in some lesson the dictum that kings can do no wrong. That jurisprudence we have all studied. But in the Indian jurisprudence, the kartavya of the king is prescribed. So he was never above law. There was no dictum in Indian jurisprudence that king do no wrong. In Indian system, even the king can do wrong, and he had to go for repentance, penance. और भरा पड़ा है हमारा शास्त्र जहाँ राजाओं को प्रायश्चित के लिए राजपाट छोड़कर जाना पड़ा. There's no that privilege given to the king that he can do no wrong. Even he can do wrong. Anybody could do anything wrong, and that was the ancient legal system. So, it is a paradox, but the truth that when we thrive for, when we dream for a better tomorrow, we will have to look within. We'll have to fall back upon our wisdom, concentrated wisdom which has been lying in our scriptures. We'll have to examine those principles, those siddhant, because it is the siddhant, it is the sense of responsibility, that duty, that kartavya, which is lacking in the present jurisprudence, in the present legal system. And I hope that with the advent of Adhivakta Parishad, with their approach towards law, I hope the day is not far that when in the laws we will have definitely a better tomorrow. क्योंकि मुझे यहाँ आकर ऐसा लगता है कि राह तो चलने से मिलती है, भटक कर ही सही. राह तो चलने से मिलती है, भटक कर ही सही. गुमराह है वो जो घर से निकला ही नहीं. I thank you all for so patiently listening to me and giving me this privilege of a platform. Jai Hind.